everybody, welcome to the Blue House Bull Session on this beautiful March 13th, Wednesday the 13th. What a day, huh? I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck or what. What is a Wednesday? Is it Wednesday good luck? Is it Wednesday bad luck? I don't remember. Uh it is gorgeous outside for local weather. It is nearly 70 Fahrenheit. That's like 11 I Celsius or something. I don't know. My math is bad. Here with Fuzzy again, doing our thing. I wanted to talk about pizza. I'm hungry. I did not remember to eat before this. We were talking a little bit beforehand in our little invisible green room. um,
It's around 20 C, by the way.
I I
Ish.
I kind of figured. I'm trying to practice. I keep my weather app
No,
on Celsius.
no, just
I know. I know. It's important to know. The entirety of the world uses it. We are the holdouts. It's useful. It's useful. I'm hungry. What goes on a pizza? We wanted to talk about what you like, what's okay, what's bad and wrong. What have you heard of, tried, seen? Howdy, welcome.
uh hmm.
Tough call. I don't know.
I I will eat almost anything except like fish. Like I don't like anchovies, I don't like capers, I don't like just stuff like that that don't really they shouldn't be a topping.
Okay, okay, okay. I can get with that.
But anything else, anything that you can like slice or dice or crumb and put on a pizza,
I
then I think validly goes on there.
I have struggled for a long time with mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I don't like them on pizza. I will eat them. I'm not picky. I mean, you can tell, but I can't do mushrooms on pizza, and I think it's because they get soggy. Not just wet, they get legitimately soggy. Green peppers, that's kind of a take it or leave it for me as well. They like get bitter when you put them on pizza. They lose that peppery crunch. Like if they weren't cooked, they would be okay. You know, I like my green peppers crunchy. I like them raw. Cooked green peppers just they don't do it for me.
But you don't like mushrooms in general, right?
I'm growing to, but they have to be a separate entity. I have to just be eating the mushrooms.
See, I have the inverse of that with olives. I despise olives. I don't like their texture. I don't like the smell. But the only time I will ever eat an olive is on a supreme pizza,
If it's
and I still
in
know that
something, yeah.
it's overpowering, but it's part of the chord of taste. I do not like the note of olives, but the chord of a supreme pizza.
It's that weird flat six that makes it all jazzy. When are we gonna get Jackson on one of these things, man? I am by default a meat guy, and I our notes that we work from just updated to include him. I will always order a meat lovers. I will always order one with cheese in the crust. I want everything fancy. I'm not Mr. New York pizza where if it has a topping, it's a flatbread. I want shit on my pizza, not literally, metaphorically. I'm getting a pizza because I want something on it. I don't want garlic bread with tomato sauce. What
Yeah.
can I say?
Although Little Caesars has that slices and sticks thing. That's a half pizza, half
Yeah.
breadsticks. It is really good, and for like what $7.99. I mean, and it's a good size. It's not the why is this too small medium? It's a good size medium.
Yeah,
And for one person, 4 slices of pizza is actually a lot.
it is.
So I'll eat about half of it. I'll have 2 slices and a number of breadsticks, and it's like that is about a meal. That is, you know,
I will say,
it's
Ash,
a
you can
quarter of a pizza.
absolutely overdo meat on a pizza. I like all the different meats. You don't have to put them all on at once, and you don't have to put a ton of them.
The problem with too many meats is it's too much grease
Yeah,
and it's too much what's the technical word? It's too much mass. The heat gets absorbed by the toppings. The half the heat from the top of the oven
yeah.
doesn't make it through the thermal absorbing mass of the toppings and doesn't cook the pizza, which is why a lot of times with meat lovers or something, they will either if they have the time, they will places that can like insert in a pizza halfway, they will either pre-cook it halfway and then put it through to preheat literally
To
the
par bake
toppings.
the yeah,
Yeah, and then they'll put it in. But the problem is you get really extra crunchy crust when you do that.
yeah.
And if you add extra toppings, they'll even warn you like, "Hey, this is gonna come out like kind of crispy because we just like sometimes the cheese won't melt."
The best pizza. Wow, I'm charming. Okay, okay. I'm leaving aside breakfast pizza. That's a whole different conversation, and y'all already know how I feel about Casey's. The best pizza I've ever had, and this is going to sound so terrible, is from a pizza buffet, a cheap pizza buffet, Cece's. They have a
Yep.
macaroni and cheese pizza where they put extra like melted cheddar sauce on top and cooked macaroni noodles. If you add Italian sausage to that, it is the most perfect, amazing pizza. And they don't use like the good Italian sausage. You don't get big chunks. You don't get slices. No, you get the little bitty crumbles, the Chuck E. Cheese dog food looking kind of. Mm, perfect, perfect pizza right there. I've never tried, but I have seen hot dog slices on a pizza, and I'm curious. Alfredo pasta pizza. I could get with that. Was it like the chicken Alfredo stuff? Did they use the chicken too? Because that sounds like the best thing. I'm about to go like befriend a manager at a Pizza Hut now.
I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, just like a medium pizza base, and then just like dump a thing of the Alfredo, spread it out, and maybe throw an extra layer of cheese atop for good measure. But
I am so into that idea. I think, hey, maybe we should make plans for dinner.
something my family used to do, and this was one of those somebody would always make it for, I'd say food holiday, but it includes like every one of my 2017 cousins. Like I have way too many cousins because I have way too many. We have a very wide family. So there's always people's birthdays and stuff. But somebody would make vegetable pizza.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was like a real thin. It wasn't pizza dough. I swear to God, I think it was just like a bunch of the croissant biscuits or something, the triangle ones,
Yeah, yeah.
just not triangled and just spread them out and mush them together a little bit because it was like thin and crispy. And then like cream cheese, I want to say, and then just a bunch of vegetables on top, like too many vegetables. But it always had like broccoli and stuff on it too. I was like, it was basically like a what's the fancy name for the vegetable platter? Cruda.
Crudite.
Yeah, it was like basically one of those dumped on top.
Crudite.
Yeah, but it was like all the stuff you put in there, like carrots and broccoli, little like broccoli nibs and stuff like that on top of it.
I
And
could get with that.
it was good. It was basically like, oh, here is a veggie tray sampler on a cracker. And it wasn't cooked or anything. It was cold, or I think maybe they baked it a little bit to bake the dough. I don't remember.
I,
I should find out before they all die.
yeah, yeah, we should do that.
But
Speaking
it
of
was basically vegetable platter on a cracker.
speaking of things we should try, uh, one of the local favorites, Skyline Chili, out of the general Ohio area. We need to make a Skyline pizza. I want Skyline Chili as the sauce. I want a ton of cheddar cheese as the cheese, and that's the one we put the sliced up hot dogs on. So it's like the
Yeah,
Cody's. Maybe a little
yeah.
drizzle of mustard, bunch of diced onions. Oh,
It is a
oh,
horizontal coney.
that's the other thing. Is I don't like pizza toppings that are too big. I don't want whole slices of salami. Little coins, cool. I'm good with that. Little pieces of pepperoni, I'm fine.
I wonder if that's the reason I don't like anchovies or anything, because it's just like the whole anchovy slices. It's not like
Yeah,
diced up. It is whole ass like strips. Like if
get
you're gonna put chicken on a pizza, don't put whole big chunks.
right. Little
It's got
squares,
to be
diced
it's got to be
cubes.
cubes.
Yeah,
It's got to be
tiny
cubes.
cubes. Salami's good. It's just possible to have an overwhelmingly large piece of salami on a pizza.
You have to quarter them.
Yeah,
They have to be no bigger than a pepperoni.
yeah. That's kind of
Yeah.
my general size limit. Green peppers are kind of the same way. Aside from just the cook thing, it's always whole slices. If they're little diced up cubes, I might not object to them so much. Mushrooms are fine because you cut them into slices and they're mushroom sized. That's no help as a reference, but
No, I usually at least quarter up the mushrooms.
yeah, I get you. I
If
get
if I'm getting buttonish size ones, I'll at least quarter them. If I'm getting the slightly bigger, like the full size portobellos, not the small button size ones, I will roughly take. I will chunk them up also accordingly. Some amount of slicing so they're smaller pieces.
cantaloupe sized salami. When I get my sausage making equipment, I will hook you up. I will make you a cantaloupe of how big is a can? I'll make you a cantaloupe of salami, he says, holding his hands 3 feet apart. He's got
Huge
cantaloupes this
tracks of
big.
salami.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge track. Wait, no, not huge tracks of melon.
In Russia, Papa John's was trying to expand into their territory at one point, and they made a pizza that they called "To Russia with Love" that had mashed potatoes and raw garlic. I want to say it was something like that, which are considered, traditional pizza toppings over there. And I'd try it. That sounds interesting as heck.
What's okay? Dividing moment. What's your stance on pineapple?
I like it. I'm not going to claim that it is objectively good. That's one of those where I enjoy it. I'm never going to be like a loyalist, purist, screaming you cannot have it. But it depends on what it's with. You need the extra salt to balance it out. And I feel like I'm in the minority where I'm like, it's okay. I kind of dig it. I don't have to have it. I'm not going to preach its merits, but I'll eat it. I like it. Um, no kiwi. I have heard of that one, and no kiwi. Uh, I don't. I'm picky about my sweet things on pizza.
In I think pineapple is not abhorrent, but it is because it is sweet and juicy.
Yeah.
It is a sweet thing, not a savory thing. It is narrow in the types of pizza you can put on it. Put it on. You would not put it on. You wouldn't put pineapple on a meat lovers.
No, you'd want to pair it with a meat. maybe two if
Yes.
you're feeling bold, but you don't like just throw it on with everything else. It is for dedicated combinations.
Yes. A usually a Hawaiian style pizza, which more often than not, and here's a very East Coast West Coast thing. If you say Hawaiian pizza, it varies, and this is where a lot of the discourse about pineapple comes from, is whether or not it's a tomato sauce versus a barbecue sauce. A Hawaiian pizza with a barbecue base and not a tomato based sauce already has the sweetness, and the pineapple goes more towards the acid, is additional sweetness, and it's sweetness with the barbecue sauce.
Well, that's just a flatbread. That's not a pizza anymore. I
But it's whether or not you allow pineapple or barbecue sauce as a sauce replacement on a pizza, greatly opens up your different toppings, including pineapple.
I will say that it does pair better with tomato than a lot of people think it does, or than it
Oh
sounds like
yeah,
it
yeah,
should.
yeah. But if you say, "Oh, it's okay on Hawaiian," it may not. It'll be wildly whether what type of what they
Right,
consider Hawaiian pizza.
right. Best pineapple pizza would be something like barbecue pulled pork or chicken. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay. I'm into that. I'm into that. And
you
I don't. I
usually
yell about barbecue sauce, but I'm into that.
usually the pizza I'll get with is either bacon or chicken as my protein on it.
Spam and
Sometimes I
pineapple.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Spam
yeah.
and pineapple. 100%.
There was a pizza place around here that had spam as an option. As the same, they would run it through a little thing and get little spam cubes.
Spamlets.
Yeah, I want to get one of those for tofu. That
The wire thingy.
well, I have the spam slicer,
Yeah.
and that will make slabs. But there's a thing that will like It's basically like it looks like a tennis racket. You like put the block of tofu in, and it like extrudes it through sideways,
Yeah.
and it makes about, I'd say, half inch by half inch strips, and then you can vertically slice it and effectively get cubes.
Put I don't like spam in
Well,
sound
she's not going to be on the show.
bites. Let me make a note to add that to my sound alerts. uh all right.
Spam is okay, but you have to cook it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now, we need to unite against a common foe, and that is the Swedish because of the banana curry pizza.
Ooh.
Pineapple, banana, curry powder, red onion.
Oh, I don't. Mm, the onion would be the only thing on there, but I have opinions about onion.
Aren't you like 215% Italian?
No.
Weren't you raised by like 215% Italians?
Yes.
What what's
That
your opinion on onion then, sir?
certain types of onion, and I'm not sure which, but certain ones more than others, give me very, very, very bad bloating and gas. It
Oh,
took me a long time to
that's a
realize it was onion, and if I stopped eating it, these things did not happen to me. I had a very discomforted youth, and then one day I realized when I started supplying my own food, oh, I'm no longer in discomfort all the time. I wonder if it's food based. Oh, look, it's things I shouldn't eat, like onions and dairy. Guess what's in almost everything?
FODMAP foods. Yeah, no, I okay.
Yeah.
That is justifiable then. That is understandable.
It
I
there
can respect that.
there's a lot of things that have like little minced up onion in it for extra kick, because onions,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, this is good, but it tears me up, like, oh, because it's got onion in it.
Do you have that same problem with garlic?
No.
It's just specific types of onions.
Yes, and it's whether or not how cooked they are.
I could dig that.
If there's like rings of onion on a burger or little pieces of red onion in a salad, that is bad. Generally, if you like saute them and it releases all the stuff, they're generally okay. Sort of. Except I don't know which ones are which, and I just generally don't like them.
Okay, I can give you that. Fair enough. And
They're delicious. I just know there's severe after effects.
for all my crapping on it, I would 100% try a banana curry pizza. Tapatai Cooking has made one on stream before, and there were very mixed opinions over there. He was not sure how he felt about it, but he left pretty impressed with the one he didn't screw up. I'll say that.
I I have sliced, halved a banana and sprinkled crushed red pepper flakes on it.
Swear to God, if you tell me you put a curry powder all over
I mean, basically, yeah, either tahini or
it.
red pepper or something. So, eh, I could see that.
um,
I think onions are supposed to mess everybody up. I think that's like their intent.
it's a defense mechanism. It is like sweet banana. Yes, 100%. It is banana. They're
Oh yeah,
yeah,
plantains.
but
Well, that's 30 minutes. I'm stop being hungry. I want to talk about something else.
all right, fine. We'll come back to pizza later. What you thinking? What's on your mind? What's new? What's exciting? What's on our list?
Uh,
You got the notes.
what's new or what's on the list?
Yes, all of the above. Let's pick one. You want to stop talking about pizza? I'm good with that.
uh, I'm. You can't tell, which is why the camera's angled up. But I cleaned a bunch, and I'm finally setting up that computer that I've been assembling forever. So I may not. I may miss the show next week, depending on how this goes, or may all be perfectly fine. It's scary going from a 8-year-old copy of Windows 10 that was actually a port from Windows
You followed the whole
XP or
path from 3.1 all the way up to 11 at this point.
this was my XP machine.
Yeah.
So effectively this install of Windows is about 20 years old. So, but I'm clean install. I'm not going to move things over. I'm going to reinstall things because yeah, it was XP and then it was 7 and then it was 10. Yeah, you just upgrade it and just reinstall over top. There's files I have in folders that are on my desktop that are 20 years old.
Yeah, no,
Like
I've
the
got
modification date is like 2001. It's like, oh, these were just these same 6 folders on my desktop for 20 years. Yeah.
No, I 100%. I have a small box that is just external hard drives, and I have files in there with creation dates that start in 19.
Yeah. You asked me for a file once. I'm like, oh, I know exactly where that's at. It's right here next to the other files from years that begin with a 0.
was
You
that
know?
was that when I was looking for the flash games from the comic site, like horse boarding and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
Those need remade. Sorry, I just heard a whole lot of commotion over there. Apparently, I had a cat charge in and crash into something on the floor.
But it's not
What do we
just,
got?
hey, I got a new computer, so I got to deal with new hardware. It's I'm also going to Windows 11 because support for things and stuff.
If you end up out of commission next week, I will absolutely pick on someone else and grab someone else to guest for a week. But I wish you all the best in your computer endeavors.
I could probably do this from a laptop
You could
because this
probably
is
do
web
this from your
based.
phone. I'm putting that out there, but I understand how it goes at the same time.
Right, but like I do have a functioning laptop. I could probably just, plug a USB mic into it and go.
Fair, fair. Um,
Pick on Jiggy.
he's been threatening to. I'm gonna take him up on it one of these days. I'm gonna be like, hey, it's Wednesday. I know you got plans, but tell with him. You're coming on our show.
I mean, we could is because he goes live around this time, which he's live right now apparently. I
Yeah,
mean, we could always have him on as the guest spot, like early in the start a little bit earlier,
yeah.
have him on, and then like let him f off to go do his show.
I'd absolutely be down with that. And I know, like I said, he's already said he's interested. So we'll have him on. We'll have him on after we give him the preview version of Juicebox, and we'll let him rant about that.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Or once he gets his news. We're still, last I
Yes,
checked, waiting for news.
yes.
But we haven't heard anything back yet. We're all just kind of in a holding pattern on that, picking our noses and waiting patiently for Twitch to catch up and finally recognize his greatness, if that's how you choose to phrase it.
We should talk about item 4.
Yes, yes, we should.
While everybody's still here and awake and doesn't get buried at the end of the show.
Yes, we have opened I'm assuming I'm counting the same way you are. Since we always do the Hergel Minute on the show and talk about the games we've been working on and stuff, we have opened a public Discord for Hergel. If you're interested in games, want to see what's coming up, want to give your feedback, want to throw down some challenges, want to make your suggestions, we have a public place to do that. And we have created a Twitch channel which is going to be shared between all of our development team, so that you can watch us develop games live. You can watch us play games live. You can just kind of see what we're doing, catch up on the Hergel Minute over there. If you follow, let me throw a shout out in the chat. Follow Hergel Studios on Twitch too, and support our dream of making our independent game studio a real thing. Shopping cart game one, it is on our list. Let me get through the stuff that we have to get done before events happening in the next 2 or 3 months. Um, I have it on good authority. Here's your leak of the day. That one of our priority things is a Metroid-based game, which you may have heard me talk about a little. And another one is putting a coat of polish on Zelda Tilt and Tumble, because somebody might want to submit it to some event this summer where they do games quickly. I don't want to identify which one by name. But yeah, we're going to have some representation at some upcoming charity events. So I am very, very excited for that. But yeah, if you follow us over at Hergel Studios, we're going to be doing development there. We're going to be doing testing there. We're going to be doing hangouts there. Uh, we're actually probably going to be doing some community gaming over there too. We have frameworks for doing like trivia games, stuff like the Jackbox games that we've had an interest in for a while, and that's going to be our best way to show those off. So if you're in the Discord, you'll know when it happens on Twitch, and if you're following us on Twitch, you're welcome to join in at any time. Right now, we don't have any like regular shows scheduled or anything, but you'll find out about them. You'll find out about them. Um, if I will drop a link to the Discord in the chat here in a minute. I have to go grab a invite link, or Fuzzy can if he's on it already. But yeah, since we always end up devolving into that, I wanted to make sure that I told all of you guys that that's where the fun and excitement's going to be related to that stuff. Um, Fuzzy and I have talked before. I've talked to a bunch of people before about building building a second Patreon. I currently have a Patreon to support the stuff I do, but I kind of want to separate Hurdle and all the games we make and that stuff from it and leave mine for whatever other creative pursuits I do, like music and all of that stuff. So that will be announced there too, and that way you can decide what you want to encourage me to do by throwing dollars at it. Vote with your wallet and all of that. But yeah, I definitely know we're going to be streaming something on the Hergel Studios channel this weekend. I haven't entirely decided what, but I have many, many ideas. Um, I had kicked around. See, I haven't told Fuzzy this yet, so he's surprised I am the worst at running this like it's a business. I have kicked around with a couple people the idea of doing a race in Can Do and just showing off a couple of screens and inviting people as guests to how fast can you sort some shelves. Nothing set in stone yet, but it's a discussion that's come up. Also, thank you for grabbing that invite link. Yeah, yeah, jump on in. Jump on in. We'll keep everyone posted with what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I know Fuzzy does a lot more streaming of development than I do. I'd like to, but you are out there doing it regularly, and I love just hanging out and watching.
Well, now that we've got that, I may do more. Like, I won't do my personal development stuff on there, but when we're just doing like the QA of the games,
Yeah,
just watch me play and destroy Jason's dreams.
yeah. No, I'm
Like
I'm a fan of that.
that's a good place for that because you can see, gameplay and also, the debugging thereof of why this is broken.
Yeah, yeah. It's a real treat to get that behind the scenes view and kind of get the peek into the mind. If you've ever wondered why bugs show up in some of the things you do, having someone walk you through their thought process originally and figuring out what step they missed or what gears didn't mesh right with their original plan. I love it. I love it. Maybe I'm weird. Okay, I know I'm weird, but I love it. I love it.
And the bonus is I don't have to take notes. I can just like mark a timestamp and show
Yep.
Jason the VOD and be like, your game's broken. It's at 12 minutes and 34 seconds.
Bringing back the good old days when we were both streaming working on Mudoku's Digits. Oh, sorry, I mean
Yeah.
Digit Dungeons. Which, by the way, is also on our list, is a full rebranding so Nintendo doesn't beat us up, reworking of the Sudoku Dungeon Explorer game that we are tentatively branding as Digit Dungeons, and I would like very much to put it out on a couple of platformy things like Steam, maybe. Throw a couple
Mm-hmm.
bucks at it. Yeah, I like that.
That was also one of the reasons we decided to have the Discord for the gaming stuff and also a channel and stuff. Is it's a lot easier to point to one place
Yeah.
rather than either Jay's or mine or whatever for a lot of these social like things. If when you go into like Steam, like what is your one social link? It's like, oh, it's over here.
Oh, that reminds me. I gotta throw another note in our thing here. Just so I don't forget, if we're going to start doing all this Hurgle stuff, I got to remember to get the other current member of our development team on here too. Chat about
Yes.
games and terrible ideas and all the stuff we got going on. What did I put in our private Discord in the incubator? The sushi conveyor belt with railroad switches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we all come up with like half baked ideas or fragments of things, and we just like we should start writing these down, and then one day we'll just like start, turning them into things.
Yeah, it's almost like a rock tumbler, but for ideas. Knock the corners off, polish up the edges a little bit, and then we have something we can turn into something playable. So that's been fun. There's lots of really interesting stuff there. Scorched Earth with crowd control. Yeah, we still need to do that. We definitely still need to do that. Welcome back. Hope your spaghetti's good. What did you miss? Talking about the upcoming Hergel Studios channel. We have it registered, telling everyone to come follow it and see us do live development and testing and hanging out there. You missed the talk about the Discord, but there's a link right above your message. I don't think you missed much else. I yelled about Kerplunko.
In
Uh,
fact,
we talked about the idea I had that was like Stardew Valley meets Vampire Survivors. By day, you plant a farm, and by night, you defend it. And then the one where you shoot a knight out of a cannon, and it's like only up, but instead of jumping, it's you're a projectile. One of the earliest ideas I pitched, and I am hesitant to admit this, but at the same time, I love this idea. One of the reasons that I tried to round up a team as aggressively as I did, because I've been doing this stuff for fun on my own for quite a while, and so is Fuzzy. But when my ideas started to get a little too big for one person, I started to try and reach out for help. I had an idea. Have you guys seen on Discovery Channel or wherever it lives now the series How It's Made? It's like three little 7-minute segments where they show you some factory process for how things are made. They walk you through how soy sauce is made. That specific episode is like one of my comfort videos to watch. I want that, but for all the scenes where they're showing parts of the machinery or whatnot, they're mini games like in WarioWare. But it's narrated the same way. It has the same feel, the same funky atmosphere, and you'll see little like video cutscenes in between showing the process. And then every once in a while there'll be one that's a mini game or like a quick time event. You are making episodes of how it's made, basically. But that's one of the ideas that pushed me over the line into okay, it's time to get serious and get people involved. And then we started doing everything else because we had deadlines. But it's still there. We're going to make it happen one of these days. God, could you imagine if we got the license to actually use, like, their branding? I wonder if they'd even consider that. I don't even know how you'd go about finding out.
um, well, I know the guy that does the or did the narration of that is on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. You know the other one I want when we're talking about like intellectual property and licenses and like I want to legitimately make a game using someone else's creative whatever. Wizards and Warriors from the original NES. They had three of those.
Yes.
They had the Game Boy one. I want to make a Wizards and Warriors game. I love their whole backstory. I love their whole style. I love the theme song from that so much. Like, I want to make one of those games. And it's not just the gameplay, I want to be part of that universe. A lot of times it's like Digit Dungeons, Mudoku's Digits. We dressed it
Mm-hmm.
up like Zelda, but it's not dependent on it being a Zelda game. We're proving
No.
that, you know. But a Wizards and Warriors game, I want that because it is Wizards and Warriors, not because I want a game like that. You know, that one's just me. I know, but still, best theme song from a game ever. Best theme song, hands
Okay.
down.
Okay. The Discord's on the website now.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. See this, I would say this is why I keep you around, but I keep you around for a whole lot of reasons. But every time you do this, I am reminded what an amazingly talented human being you are. I appreciate you. Hearts to you. Big hearts for Fuzzy in the chat. But yeah, I'd love to make a Wizards and Warriors game. I'd love to make a How It's Made game. I'd love to go through all the ideas we have here and just one at a time, just put them together. The problem is we have ideas faster than we make them, and I can't even really say that's a problem. We're never wanting for something to work on, and that is a good thing.
Well, we're also limited not just by time but by knowledge. There's certain pieces of technology that we know are possible. We know these games exist. You can see pieces of it all over the internet. It is a matter of how do we know how to do that type of thing yet?
Yeah.
We joked about making a 99 type game. Well, that's multiplayer. Doing two-person multiplayer is probably okay, but once we know how to do n number multiplayer in a large single consistent world, that's a whole lot of pieces of Lego that we now know how to build with. You know,
And that's going to be a huge help. It is.
there's you made that stream ship
Yeah.
overlay thing experiment, and that spawned a bunch of other new technologies for us. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to come off of that. It's like a lot of different Twitch integration, and it's things spawned off of that. It's like as we learn these, our dreams become possible. You
Yep.
know,
Building it
if
up one piece at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that's as programmers, that's why we build dumb things that have no meaning. It's I don't want to build a birdhouse, but now I know how to use a table saw.
Yeah.
It is I know how to measure and cut and do things like that, and effectively that's what programmers end up doing is you have these dreams but you don't know how to execute them.
I've made the comparison before that almost all programming is plumbing. And in some
Yeah.
sense there's truth to that. All you are doing is changing how data goes from one place to another and maybe transforming it a little bit along the way. You can absolutely abuse that metaphor to death, but being able to build out a new type of joint or a new type of connection or whatever, learning all
Yeah.
those mechanics is what it's all about.
There's always the adage of you make one to throw away or something like that.
Yeah.
Is I'm not making a thing. I am honing my skills. As long as you know it is okay to make a thing that you are going to throw away. Your first one does not have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how to perfectly fry an egg. If you know what, you script the egg too bad, you throw it away.
Yep. Yep.
It is
Absolutely.
fine.
The counterpoint I would offer to that is things don't have to be perfect to be shown off either. The
Yeah.
first game I ever made was Do Not Drop an Egg. You press the mouse button to grab an egg, and if you moved the mouse, your hand would move up and down, and it randomly gave you points as long as you were holding the egg. And the minute you let go of the button, your hand opened and you dropped the egg, and the game was over.
Um, Point of order. Your first game you ever made was Teach Your Dog to Fly.
Okay, okay, yeah, no. Going back to the calculator stuff, right? Writing stuff on the TI-85 graphing calculator. Yes, I suppose you do have a point there. You could throw your dog at just the right angle that it would fly away. Otherwise, you would throw your dog and it would not. Oh man, I had completely forgotten about that. I remember, I remember adding sound to Jazzball on the calculator because it
Yep.
had a communications port that you could use to hook it to a computer that you could get an adapter to plug in headphones.
Yep. Except you modified that port to fit a normal 3.5 inch
Yeah.
or 3.5 millimeter jack opposed to the 2.5 millimeter connection jack. And when you did that, you could no longer load stuff from the computer onto that calculator. Because I have
Yeah.
that calculator. You sold it to me when you left high school. I picked up that calculator, and everything I had on the calculator I wrote by hand because I
Yeah.
could not just, oh, I installed it from the computer and I just downloaded an app. No, I learned TI Basic and I programmed every one of those macros and that mole calculation program for my chemistry class.
Everybody's got
Yeah,
Avogadro's number.
I did. I wrote some program to basically do that formula of the mole mass thing. It's like prompt. It was like 3 prompts. It's like put in the number, put in the thing, put in the thing. We'll do all the math. It's the math you're going to do longhand. It's just math. But I had to have an understanding of the formula to program it in because it was
Yeah.
not not reverse Polish notation, but it was weird. TI assignment was dumb, and yeah.
But that goes back to what we were saying before. When you build something, it is to give yourself a deeper understanding of something.
Oh yeah. I I won't say I owe all of my programming skills to that, but that was a very crucial time when because I had unlimited access to my calculator.
Yeah.
I only had so much time on the computer. I used that to play games, but I could sit with my graphing calculator and write programs on it all day, and no one would question it.
Big truth. Big truth right there, man. Oh, I miss that. I have been considering the possibility
No,
of picking up another graphing calculator.
they're still stupidly expensive for no good reason because it is literally a cartel and a monopoly that is legally allowed to do because dumb legislation with schools.
And the calculator mines in South Africa and all of that. Yeah, no, I know, I know.
It like not to go into it's like conspiracy level bullshit that the schools and the teacher council and lobbying and stuff.
It's Pearson, but Hewlett Packard. Yeah,
It's basically the same reason that I swear we won't get into the details of this, but it's the same reason that tax making companies lobby the tax making people to not make taxes easier to do so they can sell you tax software. The people who make the calculators lobby the
yeah,
teacher boards who enforce the requirements to say you have to have this one. You can only have approved calculators. Well, who approves it? Well, we do.
yeah, yeah.
It's part of it was for standardization, and then it goes into lobbying and stuff. Yeah,
Into it be like, man. Ti
yeah.
be like.
There,
If you see a Ti 85, just let me know if it's not stupidly expensive at the thrift store or a
you won't
Ti
find
8 whatever, an 83, an
you'll
83
find
plus.
83s and 83 pluses because those were the big standard for a long time. So there's a lot of those. Although people kept them because it's still a goddamn calculator.
Yeah,
And sometimes you need a calculator that is not your phone. A lot of the new ones do have like LCD screens and stuff. And they're small little very restrictive ARM computers, but they're still north of $100 just because.
yeah, that's kind of hinky.
I mean, they're rechargeable and lipo and stuff like that now. Some of them have Wi-Fi. Like
I I don't know. It's my equivalent of owning a
yeah.
typewriter. It's purely
I
for nostalgia's sake. Well,
I don't know where it would be, but I could probably find that 85. I think I might know where it's at. Not enough to go hunt right now, but
yeah, no, it ain't worth all that. But it's on my
I
someday list. It's on my maybe
yeah
list.
yeah. Do we want to take a quick break and then before we talk about sound?
Yeah, I think we're gonna take a real quick 5 minute break here, run a couple of ads, just to keep everybody, satisfied with the amount of money that they're getting. Thank you guys for hanging out. We will be. Blah, 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 blah. You say it. We will be back
Be
in
right
about
out
5 minutes. Okay.
5 minutes.
All right. I made it through. I was struggling with that sentence so hard, and I have no idea why. But yes, we will catch you guys in about 5. Don't go anywhere. You stay right here. then we can tell everybody that we are coming back. Thank you so much for hanging out while we were on break for a minute there. We are back. Welcome. Hi, howdy. Hope you enjoyed yourself in our brief time away. Oh, man. I hope you stood up. I stood up. I absolutely stood up. Fuzzy, did you get a stretch in?
No,
Oh, man. I can imagine you're still pretty beat, though. I was watching you stream the other day. How's your arm feeling?
it's it's not as locked up as it was on Sunday.
That is a
On
good thing.
Sunday, on Sunday it didn't hurt. On Monday it was like T-Rexing up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then I like heat packed it yesterday, and it's sore that I worked out, but the same like next day sore.
Yeah.
I think it's because I hadn't done any lifts in like forever. I really need to start just doing that in general.
Me too. Seeing you do that, I think I might have to add myself a channel point redeem and get myself a set of weights. I know I was saying that. I'm going to say it again. Until I get my weights, I'm going to keep saying it. I miss that. I've never been a cardio guy, in case you couldn't tell from the fact that I am in shape, and that shape is perfect sphere.
Cardio I can do. I just have no. It's not that I have no upper body strength. I have like no bicep strength because it's why I can't do push-ups. It's like I don't have, you know, yeah.
That.
Yes.
I have this.
I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
I miss lifting weights, though. I do. I was never like a super strong guy, but that is a form of exercise that I like on its own merits. What can I say? Yeah, see, I have a sedentary job, or at
Yeah.
least I choose to make my job sedentary. I know plenty of people that have standing desks, but while I own one,
Well,
I don't use it in my day to day.
even standing desks only really just works on like core muscles just for standing, but it's like you're effectively taking all the horrible parts about being like a cashier and putting them in front of programming.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I did not properly mix my drink, and I got a drop of the direct orange flavor tart, tart, tart. Delicious, but very citrus. It is orange and then some. Lord, it's everywhere. Why do I keep doing that?
Oh, it smells horrible. Come here, smell this.
Hey, get over here. Check this out. Yeah, it's one of those. No, I picked up a orange tangerine water additive stuff.
Flavor squeezings.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have been squeezing flavor into many things that do not need flavor. Squoze into it. I have homemade orange Mountain Dew now. Um, stop doing that.
Ugh.
Makes me miss the other live wire sometimes.
Yeah.
I switched to exclusively diet, and they don't make everything in diet.
I saw an article. People were clamoring for that. Like, look, you're making all these other ones.
Can
Like,
we have them
just
with
start.
zero sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why all your random shitty weird flavors die. Is you only make the regular ones. Start making. Come out with them. Just don't even come out with the regular ones. Just come out with the zero sugar ones, and
I
all your weird flavors will take off because people want something a different flavor without sugar.
If I could get a zero sugar code red, I would be such a happy man. I'd be chugging and charging, bringing back the Halo memes. Yeah.
Oh God. Well, Halo is actually a perfect introduction to our next topic.
the music of video games, the sound of video games in general, the good, the bad, the ugly, how important is it to the experience of a game? Um, can it by itself make or break a game? What do
Yes.
you like out of it? All right, all right. I believe you. I do trust you. But I want to ask if you have an example off the top of your head of a game where the music detracts hugely from it.
Oh, detracts from
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Um,
Like if you can come up with one where the game would objectively be better if it didn't have a soundtrack or didn't have that soundtrack.
I think things where the sound loops too often.
So, like my old game Derailed, where I had a 5 second clip of music.
Well, no, because in that case, that is in a short paced game like that. You can have short music because it's broken up.
Okay,
In longer musics, you need to have a goddamn soundtrack, and it needs to be good.
all right. I have to share something with you then, because I know exactly what you are talking about. Hydlide, an RPG that came out on the original NES. Let me go find a gameplay video because it had 4 bars of music that just got repeated over and over and over again. Let me pause this for a second and figure out how to do my screen share real quick because I need to share this with everybody. There ain't no two ways about it. There we go. Yes.
Let me.
Show that on the stream. I want everybody to see and hear the majesty of Hydlide. Go to the game start. Play the music.
Okay, it is going. Okay, but so it would play this the entire time you
The
were playing this game.
entire time you were playing this game.
And
That
how
is
long would you
um
be playing this? Like, how long would you be like on that screen where that music was playing, or did each screen have their equally long, like horrible sound?
there was a dungeon song as well, but it was barely a song. The any percent speed run record is 13 minutes and 15 seconds. We're talking hours wandering around grinding in the overworld because it's an RPG.
I can still hear that same like 4 bar crappy MIDI from Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, yeah. It sticks. It just hangs out like that. Connor, welcome.
Okay, so the best examples I have of at either end of the spectrum is Halo,
Which is
where
perfect thematically.
which all the music like for huge sections there's no music, and then when it's like it is hype music, the score comes in, and it is that energizing music when it's like it reflects the amount of adrenaline, like your hype. But when you're sneaking around like the dark tunnels looking for the flood, like, no, there's no music because there wouldn't be. But there is music there to drive it when you need it. And
Yeah.
it's not overpowering. It wafts up from the bottom. Conversely, the the controversial soundtrack of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. Because it's a dynamic thing too. It's not
But
fixed
also,
sets of
for the most
songs,
part,
but
there's effectively no music through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There's just no back. It's not like you're in this
yeah,
area. Here's your background music. There's very few spots where there is kind of music, but for the huge where there's people, you go into Terrytown and there is background music because you expect it. There's life there, but for the huge open areas, there's not. There was music in previous Zelda games in that
yeah,
area,
yeah.
just because it was a video game. You needed music. You had to prevent dead air, but now they thematically, like, sometimes you don't need music.
Embrace that a little bit. Yeah, lean into it because it's appropriate for the exploration of a huge world. For even your
Mm-hmm.
pops of music to be sparse and in between. Let it
Yeah,
be. Let the world breathe.
yeah. I think the other biggest thing is, especially if you have repeating music,
Yeah,
you need to have controls to be able to turn the volume. The user needs to be able to either turn down or turn off the music.
this is one you and I have talked about a lot because when I remember to put music in games, I never remember to put in something to turn it off. You come
Mm-hmm.
in behind me and put a mute in all of my games, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Because I'll either not have any sound at all because it's always the last thing I add, unless it's very much tied to the game itself, in which case I'll build it in and won't let you turn it off. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, Red. I mean, it was a controversial choice at the time, and they doubled down on it in Tears of the Kingdom, and it was a good choice for that type of game. I don't think I don't think any other game could really get away with that. Even huge games with MMOs and you're out around have background music. They have zone music that
yeah.
loops and repeats, and sometimes it's long, sometimes it varies, but there's a zone in Final Fantasy 14. It's near the end. I won't explain it because spoilers, but it's effectively like the last zone you go to, that expansion. And it has this background song. It is not background music, it is a full ass song with lyrics that come in the first like 5 seconds of the song. And it's a full on like pop radio song. And it's like this orchestral emo bullshit. And it's so annoying.
Dang, I have everything turned off. I was gonna play Snake Eater just for a gag.
It, Imagine if just Snake Eater
Yeah,
just was the background music in that zone that you spend it's a big zone,
yeah,
and you're in it a lot, and then it's where all the end game activities were and stuff. And it's like the few times I got in the habit of turning the background music off in that game because I played it enough, the music repeats and I just couldn't stand it. And also I was usually watching, I have a second screen, I'm watching YouTube or Netflix. It's the generic,
yeah.
my YouTube thing, Netflix over here. And I don't want to hear your music. Except sometimes I do, and then every time I forget that I have the music on because it's actually pretty good. I end up in that zone, and I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. Where's the button? Where? No, no, turn that off.
I've watched you play 14, and the first time I saw you in a boss fight, a raid, an instance, a something, and there was the big music, and they were singing. That threw me because I'm not used to vocals in background music in a game. In cutscene music, absolutely. In between scenes, whatever, yeah. But during the action, I'm very unacclimated to vocals being a part of that.
That is only a thing in the the large raids because those are very themed, and that it's like specifically scored for those bosses and stuff, and it is very planned out. It is an artistic thing. It is not just like, hey, we picked a song. Like that song actually, if you turn off the game sounds and actually listen to the song, it is very attuned to that boss and the story and the progression of that, that whole raid series.
Yeah,
Because every series is like six or seven boss fights in a raid, and then there's like 3 of those that they release over 2 years. So it's like a whole storyline. Every one of those bosses has a specific boss fight song, and it is important and it is thematic, but it's crafted very well.
yeah,
Those ones I'll turn on because those ones are good. I usually have the background music turned off because every time the zones have music, when you go into the boss fight, it switches over to the dynamic boss battle music that I've heard 1,000 times, and I'm tired of hearing it. I know I'm in a battle. I don't want to hear it, so I turn it off. Except when I go into those raids, I turn it on because some of those songs are bangers. One of them, there's an ice queen fight thing that is just straight up a J-pop, like, up tempo near EDM music song, and it, to borrow the parlance of the youth, it slaps. It is very good, and I have gone into that fight, started the fight, and then just not actually started the fight just to listen to the music because I'm too lazy to go find it on YouTube. But
I'll bet you can go buy the soundtrack. I'm just putting it
the
out there.
soundtracks are already on, they actually posted them on YouTube.
Well, there we go. Well, if you're too lazy, yeah, okay, I get
But no, it's
you. The thing with those is like they are not cinematics. They are interactive. You are in there fighting a boss, but the setup is cinematic in the sense of here
yes,
is the scene and the
yes,
story and the size of everything.
yes. If you had to do those and there was no, if they like overrode your music choice and force you to listen to that, it I know there's streamers, especially raiders, that do the hardcore stuff and they do those fights over and over and over, and they learn to hate those songs. Um, but they leave them on because it provides timing. They know they should be passed into this phase, but when the second chorus starts,
Yeah,
if they're not
yeah.
at that, they wipe. They're like, okay, we're not at the right part. Everybody jump off. We'll reset because they know that point of the song, it and the music doesn't start until they start the fight. So they actually use it as timing.
That's some like
And what and one of the times it
Evangelion
threw
shit
them
there.
off. They had, as the game progresses, you get stronger, you get more weapons because time and so many tokens per week, etc. They got to a point where they were all strong enough, and they all 8 of them had enough upgrades that they got past the point they were on, and they got to that change point before the music changed, and it threw off the run because they're like, wait, no, the music hasn't changed. We don't know what's wrong. We're doing this wrong. And they're like, okay, now we're dead. It's like, no, it's okay.
Edit batter walk up music on MLB The Show. Oh yeah, you could do that. I forgot about that. Man, that was wild. Doing that with like wrestling games too, where you're bringing in, your own walk up music for your custom wrestler and stuff like that. I love that. We need another good wrestling game with Create a Fighter.
No, there's a new one. Let me see. I think I have it on my block list. Hold on, let me check my Twitch block list. WWE 2K24. It's some anniversary thing. I see a lot of people playing it, and apparently it is good.
I'll have to keep an eye out. I may have to pick it up. I ain't played a good wrestling game in a minute.
Um, Connor's point about the gibberish, so it's like instrumental. The Sims actually did that. They
Yeah,
brought in artists to re-record their songs
in
as a
Simlish.
cover
Yeah,
in Simlish,
that
and
was
so
that
you
was amazing.
so it was, Peanuts. You could hear them talking, but it wasn't, you weren't stuck on the lyrics.
Yep.
That zone I was complaining about, if that was like background whispers or like, just gibberish or like talk like things. It though this is I'm gonna
He's gonna. You heard him. He's gonna. Man, I gotta tell you though. As much as I hate to admit it, I guess I don't hate to admit it. This is the least spicy take. This is the most ranch dressing, unflavored mayonnaise take ever. Number one soundtrack, Undertale. As far
I
as
still
being
I
part of the
still haven't
game,
played it.
I'm
I still
going.
haven't played.
I'm going to get it for you.
Oh, I have it. I think I even have it installed.
I'm going to come to your house and sit over your shoulder while you play it and hold you when you cry at the end of it, okay? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But like in terms of thematics, like the most fitting and well executed soundtrack is Undertale. 100%. And the worst is Hydlide, which we listened to before. That was atrocious. Oh, that was atrocious. Um, I try to go for a balance when we're putting stuff together where I want something you don't have to listen to that mildly elevates the experience. It enhances it.
I
It
can't believe you
flavors
people
it.
come here voluntarily.
Thank you so much for the sub. Welcome, welcome. But I don't think. Okay, okay. I will admit the Metroid game is kind of an exception to this. I reached out for music first. I had the concept, and before I even really started making it, I went through the boilerplate motions. Oh, I'm going to make a game. I'm going to need this, this, and this, but I didn't actually start building things. The first thing I did for that is reach out to everyone I knew in the VGM community for the music. I wanted the music in this to, what did you say the kids today say? Slap? And that's how I got Game Brass. That's how I got, Stephen Morris. That's how I got Lacey Johnson. That's how I got Glasses. That's how I got uh, uh, Metal Link. I reached out to the people I know who do video game music, and I'm like, I need your dopest, sickest, illest Metroid tracks. And I ended up with amazing winners in that one. But that was a lot of luck, and B, it, to your point, Manchur, it did. The gameplay was very heavily informed by the music I secured. The game changed from my original vision as I got the music in place. It gave me a better vision of what I wanted the finished product to be like. It really did. Boy, is it going to be cool. You guys are in for a treat when that one drops. I'm just putting that out there.
It's good,
I sent
especially the bosses and stuff.
I gotta send you a video when we're done with this. It's giant, so I'll send it on Discord. Of the ending because Danny and Game Brass uh, did the credits music for that, like the last
Ooh.
level and the credits, and I want to show you how that comes together. It's it's dope. Um, yeah, no games absolutely. I'm trying to think if I know any other like really bad examples where the music did not work with the game. And I think maybe I don't have a lot of them because I just kind of push them out of my head. I forget about them. If the music's forgettable, I don't make a point of remembering it. If the music's really atrocious, I don't play the game long enough to.
I think my biggest thing is being able to mute the music separately than the sound effects. Um, Obviously, some sort of like even something control like, hey, 100%, 50% off. Like we'll let you turn it down. Like we'll tone it down. Because sometimes like yeah, I want the music on a little bit. Like I don't want to turn down my TV because I need to be able to hear the shooting or the noises or the beeping, but your music is just too loud and I can't hear the thing that's going on. Like
Oh,
I think every music slight like sound effects should start at 100, music should default to 50, you know. And if yeah, you like the music, turn it up, go ahead. That's on
Binding
you.
Binding of Isaac, specifically Rebirth, has awesome music that I don't listen to because it does loop. There is an element of exploration, so you're going to hear the same thing repeat. It does have some dynamic elements to it and all of that, but I don't. I turn the sound effects all the way up and I turn the music all the way down, and if I need some other background music, I will go put some on. But the music is good. It is thematically appropriate to the game. It does not mesh well with the game, in my opinion, aside from the boss music. The boss music in that is perfect. The wandering around the levels, crying at things music leaves a little to be desired in how it fits. I don't know. I that's the best mediocre example I have where it's just not the right fit for me. And I mean, everyone's going to have different takes on that. There are people who
Oh
bought
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
soundtrack specifically because the music's so good, and it is. I'm not going to say the music's not good. It just doesn't fit the
Oh
game.
yeah. Even there's a lot of games where I will I will wholly listen to the music, the soundtrack, which is just the background music. Like not even like, oh, it's the album inspired by, no, it is straight up
Yeah,
just the background tracks from these places. Like I I've had it for a million years. I still will listen to occasionally the background music from Final Fantasy 11, where I spent huge number of hours of my waking life listening to the same song. I will still listen to it now,
cough cough,
but
stray
I'll
light. Yeah,
I'll turn off background music in games. It's like no, because I don't want to listen to me. Maybe it's a thing in my brain. I don't want to listen to music while I'm also trying to use my brain to strategize or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Or it's like I'm trying to be like all tactical and I need to like hear if sound is a component of the game. And this is usually when I'm like, I guess when I'm playing like Destiny or something, it's got spatial audio. I can hear the people coming from one side. I am watching out for things with my ears. I don't want to also be bombarded with music.
right. No, I absolutely get that.
But even something like with raiding, the music is just more overstimulation to the 800 things I have to pay attention on the screen and everybody else's and my abilities and operate the goddamn keyboard, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And games where the music is a component of the game, but it didn't have to be, screw me up. I like dynamic music. I like music that changes with what's going on in the game. I love it as a
Mm-hmm.
concept. I want to learn to use Fmod so I can start doing stuff like that myself. But if I have to listen for cues in the music, I'm mad about it.
14 did add dynamic battle music that would shift what like how the fight was going. Like, oh, if you're starting to lose, it's going to change the tempo. Like, but it's basically everybody's so overpowered for everything that except for like right when stuff comes out, like you never hear it. You always hear the same dynamic up tempo. You are winning the fight and being the hero music. That's why I'm like, yeah, just turn it off.
There was on the TurboGrafx 16, the PC Engine in Japan, because I always ramble about that system. A turn-based strategy game called Military Madness. The Japanese version was called Nectaris, and both players, because it was two armies competing, had You are winning, you are losing, we are roughly evenly matched music. And hearing it shift, you didn't have to have that to be able to read the board and see how you were doing. But hearing that shift would just jam your mood in a certain direction. When you're playing against the computer and you shift from the we're in a strategic battle to you have the edge, you went into overdrive. You were hyped. When you started the you are losing music was so desolate. It was bad. It would screw you up. Katamari is the exception to the rule. Struggling with games with lyrics and music. Okay, yeah, yeah. Y'all know I'm a sucker for Katamari.
But again, but the sound effects in that are relevant. The music is there for entertainment, but the actual beeps and boops and that's irrelevant. You don't have to listen to, oh, if it made this sort of noise, you have to roll back over it twice or something. The sound effects are relevant. If you turn off the sound effects and left the music on, you could play that game.
Yeah, yeah.
You can only have one source of sound that you need to be listening to at a time.
Yeah, one focus, one attention sink for your ears.
But too many times they have good music, but also the sound effects matter.
Yeah.
You know.
Katamari music just stands on its own too.
And for the record, don't play this because I don't want you to get copyright. But I did find the
yeah.
This is the track. This plays. There's an instrumental version on the OC OST. That's the one that should play in the zone. Except they play the version with the lyrics in the zone on repeat, and it's a 3-minute song. And I'll be hours out there fishing or gathering or something, and it is just playing with that lyric song.
Yeah, that would screw me up.
Yeah.
I can only do music with lyrics while I'm doing something else so much, especially on repeat. Y'all know I'm the number one Katamari super fan, though, right? Have I shown that off to the whole audience? Yes, I am permanently branded with it. The Katamari music has an advantage for us specifically as uncultured Americans in that some of the lyrics are Japanese, and that gives you that gibberish experience. Even after you start to pick up some of it, even after you know some of it.
Cherry Blossom.
Yeah. And that's why I did a whole EP of remixes. They're on my Bandcamp, etc., etc. But those songs are really good too. They're right up there with Undertale in fitting the theme. The thing is, they fit the theme, they enhance the theme, but they don't drive the theme. With Undertale, the storyline was pushed forward by the music, and it would still move forward without it, but having it grew the emotions tied to it. Of course, Katamari is one of them chill, cozy kind of games where you're not driving an in-depth and touching storyline. So you could get away with.
You've watched my streams. Some of you people in here have watched me stream. One of the things I usually put on for background music is actually the soundtrack to Heartbound. And it is good music. And for the same reasons that, Undertale is good, like similar type game, the music really is important and it drives it. If you have the music off, you're only getting, you're missing a whole third of the meaning of it. It is part of, is part of the flavor of the game.
Let's talk about Interstellar Scrappers for a second. Because you want to talk about dynamic music. I wanted to make something that would give an ambient atmosphere of being on a desolate, abandoned spaceship. Okay? And I will tell you, here's the secret sauce for how that works.
Take Starlight and down-tempo it.
Here's how I actually did that. Here's your secret recipe. I recorded 6 or 7 individual chords that all swell. They fade in and they fade out, and they're all second chords. They're all like, not, I don't want to call them jazzy, but like they evoke a feeling of something's not quite resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all chords that are in related keys and or in the same key, and I randomly shuffle between them because each one is stretched out, so it's like 3 to 5 seconds long, whatever. And I'll play one, and when that fades all the way out, I fade the next one in, and then I have ambient space station sounds going on in the background. There is no deliberate plan to how the music executes. I deliberately planned the pieces so that they would fit together, but the music in that is completely dynamic and it's random every time. And for myself, I have like opened the game and recorded 30 minutes of it and just put it on random loop, whatever. But it's new and different every time, but it's so unobtrusive. It's so subtle that it never gets in the way of the game. We need to finish that game.
Yeah.
I love the concept of
Well, that is that's the type of game that you need people to play with.
yeah.
That is not a solo game.
No,
It is
absolutely not.
get your buddies together and go in and do it is less incestuous murder
I
than
can't
Among
believe
Us,
you
but it
people
is
come here
get your
voluntarily.
it is a co-op game, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
absolutely.
that's one of the things that throwback to earlier. One of the things we plan on doing with like the Hergel Twitch channel and stuff is, you know, have community nights where we're playing games like those and
Yeah,
get people in on those and broadcast those. And then we're silently making notes about what we're fixing with it. It is not just, hey, we're going to get some friends to play and play Jackbox games. Like, no, we're making our own games. Do you want to come play them?
yeah. No, I'm
It
very down
is.
with that. And it is a lot tougher when you're trying to make multiplayer stuff and you're like, how do I test this alone? there, there's no good way to do it. There are less bad ways, but there are no good ways.
Bots.
Yeah, but then you're writing a whole bot and blah blah blah. I hate effort.
They don't have to be good.
I suppose you've got a point there. You're always going to be better than the bots anyway. You made the damn thing.
Right.
Although I'm
But
not the best at many of the games I have made.
I mean, a lot of games have that concept where you can get dumb AI helpers in the game to help you do something in lieu of having friends to play it.
yeah.
They will not be as good. Counter Strike, some version of it has bot people to help fill out lobbies and things.
They are serviceable. They are adequate.
MMOs have, I think they all do at this point, have some sort of NPC minion type thing that you can go and do a dungeon that requires other people when you don't have friends, but you don't want to go in with randos.
Yeah.
It is lower and they are serviceable, but they're never going to be as good as people.
Yes, like Tails. Like Tails. Where's Shano when we need him? And Tails.
And Tails.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Somebody was telling me something about there's one of the levels it's impossible to complete without losing Tails because of the speed Sonic moves and you go through enough loops and the tracking doesn't keep track of your position. It tries to follow you, not like, oh, you're already over here. It's still recording your path that
Yeah.
you get. Tails just gets off screen,
Yeah.
and that counts as a death, and it's impossible to beat the game at the optimal speed and not lose Tails because he'll keep up with you on flat ground, but because of the way that the curves work, it just you would always lose them.
That's wild. I love speed running stuff just when you see stuff like that. I love speed running in general. I especially like the tool assisted stuff.
Yeah,
I
there's
want to see the superhuman game beating.
I appreciate the human speedrunners for their for the perfection of their craft. At the same time, I love the task ones in a very different way
Yeah.
for their optimization and execution of the perfection against the developers. It is like, okay, yes, we can do this, but what it is the perfection in the affront to God. How bad can we how much can we do this to such level of perfection that they never expected people to do such like the crazy Mario jumping, half block stuff that people do now, but like, oh, nobody will be able to do that. You can't do that to that perfection.
Uh huh.
We don't worry about having exact checking in between frames that a hit is detected because you can't do that. Well, they can now.
Yep. Yep. I I don't deliberately introduce bugs or logic errors in games. I do want to say that. That's never intentional. But I will admit that sometimes I do things in a way that I'm aware could be exploited by some situation like that. Because I want someone to find it. I don't create them, but when I do something and I'm like, well, it shouldn't ever get into this state, I have the reflexive thought I could protect against that. And then I beat it down and I say, no, if it shouldn't ever get into this state, I want to see someone do that.
I would rather have. It's like it's the reason that games have like a kill plane
Yeah,
in case you do. Oh, you can't walk off the edge of the world. It just stops. You can't jump off the edge. What happens if I go around that?
yeah.
Do I just fall infinity until you overflow and the game crashes? No. Developers know somehow they're going to get over that edge. We have to put in a kill plane that will reset them back to the beginning of the level if they ever cross it. They should never get there. Kill planes at the bottom of an island should never have to exist, but they know somehow something is going to break. Never assume something will not get into a state. Put in protections. I don't care if half your goddamn code is just all the error checking and edge casing in case this happens, do this, in case this happens, do this.
Well, Zelda Tilt and Tumble has the best example of that of anything I've ever seen. Not to keep going back to my stuff, but in original Legend of Zelda, you could move in the four orthogonal directions. You can move up, down, left,
Mm-hmm.
right. You couldn't go diagonally at all. Even if you pressed both directions on the controller, it had a priority order. You went up, you went down, you went left, you went right. So you
Yes.
could have two solid diagonal blocks.
Mm-hmm.
In Tilt and Tumble, you can move any direction. And if you have two diagonal blocks, you can roll through what does not look like it is a gap there.
And especially those rooms that have like the diamonds around like
Yeah,
the staircase in the middle. Like somebody realized like, oh, you could just go in between those.
yeah, yeah. And I'm leaving it. I have no interest in changing that. I love the fact that that works that way.
It doesn't work in all four diagonals though.
Now I'm going to have
I
to go
think it
look
only
that up.
works uh up and left,
Yeah,
but it doesn't work this way.
I'm going to have to check that out. I'm curious. But that's a great example of like the kind of bug I love. I like to leave in a game, even after I find it,
Oh
unless
yeah.
there's a good reason for me to take it out.
We had a couple of those in the early times of digit dungeons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, with the screen wrapping, because you could not move off the edges. It would detect player movement, and if you went over the edge, it knew to, oh, you went off the left, let's just slide in the next screen, put you on the other side, and now you are effectively there. But your projectiles, that detection was farther out on the screen, and they wouldn't transition, but they were still on the world. So if you shot like a boomerang off the edge of the screen and then transitioned, it was still in memory because it would not come back because you were no longer on that side, and it would, yeah,
Yeah. There were some really interesting ones in there. That was pretty great.
it was all projectile based too. All of the problems were all, as we added more projectile weapons, there's just like, this is not good.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why that's why I never completed the hook shot. I had mechanically it worked, but it was troublesome, and we never really hashed out what it would do. Would it pull enemies? Would it stun them? Would it pull you into walls? Would it only hook into some walls but not others? Like, we just never worked that out.
Yeah. It's on our list. We should make that our motto for Hurgle. It's on our list.
I think it would have been something we should definitely do when we do that, is have more alternate versions of the same tools.
Yeah.
Like, either you get the hook shot or you get the switch shot. You could have one or the other. You either get stationary bombs or you get remote bombs. Like, you get chew bombs. They don't stay in place. They go. You can't just plant one and lead somebody to, you are launching a bomb projectile. But you
Yeah.
get one or the other,
Yeah.
you know. So there's variety in your.
Can we make one that's like the boomerang that can collect items remotely, but instead of throwing it, it's like a Roomba, like a mini vacuum. It's the Roomerang. You put it down, it goes
And it
forward
just
until it hits a wall, then it picks a different direction and goes forward until it hits a wall or goes off screen. Put that one in your notes. I like the Roomerang.
No, have it detect, kind of the way the ghosts were, like, it knows where it's at here and it's at here, and it will try to path to it, and then it will just path around picking up all the drops, and then when there's no more drops, it comes back to you.
I like it. I like
But
it.
it is a walking boomerang.
I like it.
Yeah.
Clever stuff, man. Clever stuff.
Uh, hmm.
I I really do want to go back and clean that up, or even if we end up like just rebuilding it all together. I really want to go
It,
back and
it's gonna be faster to rebuild it.
I want to
I
finish
think
that game. Is what I want to do.
I think it's finished,
Yeah,
but I think at this point there'd be enough structural changes that we would spend more effort digging out things to replace them and refactoring them. That's like, oh, we know what we're doing. Let's just build a new one.
Maddie, why are you throwing my hot dog bag around? Be nice.
Well, at least it's in your room and out in the hallway.
That is bureaucrat Conrad. You are technically correct. You're fired. Clean out your locker. I don't know. I have my priority list. We talked about our priority list. My priority list is everything has to be done. It's all happening all at once now. We need to do the Metroid thing. We need to make sure Tilt and Tumble's ready for the thing with the stuff. Uh,
I think you could just say it. I think it's okay.
yeah, probably. I'm not gonna though, because I'm difficult. Uh, Daily chess Sudoku. We haven't really talked a whole lot about that, have we?
No.
That one's supposed to be going live soon. You guys know Sudoku puzzles? You can add extra constraints where, like, no number can be a knight's move away from another one. One of our upcoming, very, very close to ready to ship sites is a daily chess Sudoku puzzle generator that'll keep track of which puzzles you've solved and your best times and all of that whatnot. And that one's actually supposed to be going live relatively soon here. We're in the home stretch of the hit the switch and show it off to everybody end of things.
At least get it out and running. There'll be things we need to add over time, but
Yeah.
art is never truly done. If you wait till it's be done, you'll never launch it.
Never let perfect be the enemy of good. Yeah.
Like the calendar view.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We never actually built it. We don't need that to launch it. We can build that after launch. We don't have to delay it to work that out.
Yeah. And like being able to display medals for doing a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, that'd be a great feature to have eventually. But I want you in there playing it now, you know? Get used to it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Make it part of your
It's
daily routine.
gotta get that drip. Come back daily. Get your points.
Look, if I can do daily killer Sudoku every morning, y'all can do the daily chess Sudoku every morning. But yeah, that is up and coming from Hergel Studios, Hergel Games, the capital H.
Make sure you join the Discord.
Yes,
If you
please.
have any ideas, throw them in there. Make sure you add the word suggestion or something in there so we can find them.
And we are going to be adding ways for you to add yourself if you're interested in the beta program. See what's not quite done baking yet. We will have special areas for that and ways to add yourself to that. See what's going on. Report bugs as you're testing out the new top secret stuff. And that's also probably it is a place. It may not be the only place. It is a place that we will always announce when we're doing like community events or running a game show or anything like that. And, you
Yeah.
know, telling you when we're going to be doing the streaming and all of that whatnot as well. So go sign up
Yep.
for that. Go hang out there. You know, I gotta tell you, I want pizza. I'm still thinking about the best pizza toppings, and I want pizza. I don't think I'm gonna get pizza. I don't know what I'm doing for dinner tonight. What are you doing for dinner tonight? You said you had a lunchable earlier, right?
Yeah, but
Do you do
that's
you,
not
do you need
food.
fed tonight? Do you want to go to Denny's?
That is tempting.
If you're interested,
I mean, it's 8. Don't they close at like 9 now?
Denny's, the one I'm thinking of, is 24 hours.
The airport one.
No, they're yes. I was like, no, and then I'm like, wait a minute, yes, it is right over there by 71.
Yeah, that's the airport one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the airport one. It's open 24 hours still.
Oh no, I was saying Perkins. Perkins closes at like 9.
Yeah, Perkins closes stupid early now. I don't get it, but
Eh,
yeah.
time. It's costly to have a place open when there's no. It's lights and staff and everything, and it's if they don't have traffic because the problem is nothing else is open late.
Yeah.
So they don't need to be open later for the people that are like, okay, we can go do it. We can go to Walmart at 9 o'clock, shop around for 2 hours, get out of there. Well, it's 11. Where we go to eat? Oh, there's the diner places. If Walmart's not open,
Yeah.
nobody has a reason to be out any late time. So therefore, nobody needs to eat that late. So I blame
Yeah.
Walmart. I saw that on some news story. It's like the why 24-hour places didn't come back. And it's like the demand is there, but like the not the traffic, and everybody learned how to shop on the internet and or pick up orders or something.
Yeah, I can get with that. I that does make sense. The more I think about it.
Everybody's got delivery services now. Everybody's got curbside pickup, so you don't have to like go in and do your shopping. You can just pull, you get off at your 9 in the morning third shift job. You could just swing by Walmart and get your order and not have to go shopping. So, but it was a
Yeah,
whole trickle, like this went away, so this went away, so this went away, and there's no reason to be up to stay open late because there's no foot traffic.
I am thankful the gas stations out here are still 24 hours. When I
Their
first moved
gas
to the middle of nowhere,
Look, unless you're in the middle of Bath, Ohio, gas stations stay open.
you guys, you guys, I swear.
That was an interesting night.
Yeah, no, no, I have heard that it was.
That was one of the few times I actually triggered not threat protection, but the bank protection stuff. I got a call from my bank the next day. They're like, were you in this place very far from your normal home area and did you use your card at a gas pump
Yeah,
in a place that it's dozens of miles away from where you ever go in the middle of the night? And I'm like, no, that actually was me. But
yeah,
thank you. Because I didn't drive back then. So my card usage area was
very limited to
very
where we went. Yeah,
it was places I walked past to work or places we went, but it was all within like a tiny little area. And then suddenly my card got used at a gas station, like way over here in the middle of the night where I didn't normally go.
unreal, absolutely unreal. See, I called them up front when I went overseas.
When I the first time I ever went out to California for work, the very first time out there, I went to my bank and I'm like, please put a note on my account somehow that says, yes, I am going to California. My card will be used in California. Do not freak out. Do not flag it. If there's a problem, I will call you or do something, but
Yeah,
do not just assume it's bad that my card just suddenly appeared in California.
yeah. There is some legitimacy to it. I did travel.
Because all that's not, well, it's some level of AI based now. If you are leaving town, here's a travel tip, and you don't if you're going someplace you've never really been, and you don't want your bank to freak out and your credit cards, buy something at the airport in your city.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about that. If they
Stop
if they
stop
are
at
rule
Hudson
based,
News and
yeah,
buy a $4 bottle of water or something, and they will see, oh, you live in town A, you were going to the airport in town A, and then you suddenly showed up in another town, but it draws a line. It is not
yeah.
dot to dot. It's like, oh, he bought something inside the airport. He's probably at the airport.
He bought
Yeah,
something at that airport, or he bought something in this town. We know where he went. Yeah.
yeah.
And
But it's the fact of just buy something in the airport in your departure airport, and they probably won't flag it because like, oh, he's probably going out of town. Oh, look, he probably, you know,
I will have to keep
even
that in mind.
especially if your other um and especially if your end city is not near the airport, like you flew into Tampa and you're going down to like somewhere far away from your airport, buy something at that other airport too, so it doesn't just show up in the far away thing.
I traveled here. I ended up there. Yeah. I like that. That's
It
clever
buy
though.
don't Yeah, don't just go to the airport and buy like an expensive thing. Buy something small because like nobody's gonna steal your card and then just go buy snacks.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to get as much as they can get on that one big transaction. If you do a series of small things, it's probably you just existing as
Going
a
through your
person.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, for
I
sure.
learned a lot about how they track the heuristics of stuff like that and how they know not to. Yeah.
What you should buy is some spicy nuggets and a frosty. I'm just putting that out there. You know, get yourself the real treat.
Go on, pitch your throne link. Go ahead, or your treat. Go on, put your treat stream link.
Now I'm afraid someone will buy me dinner, and then I won't have an excuse to go out to Lenny's with you.
Are we going to Denny's?
We'll talk about it after this. But speaking of which, we're pretty much after this. I think
Yeah.
we can wrap it here. Thank you guys for coming, hanging out tonight. Hope you have enjoyed yourselves at the Blue House Bull Session. We do this Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. Come hang out. Go join the Hergel Discord. Come join my Discord if you want to. Links are down below. So is the tip jar, shaka, 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 etc., etc. Thank you for all the follows and the subscriptions today. I appreciate you guys very, very muchly. And yeah, let me throw on some music here, and we will bop out. Let me just hit my button there and there. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Jiggy. So stick around. We'll go shower some love on him. We'll catch you guys later.